Hello, Marketing Automation Pilot Program Pioneers. Today, we are going to be covering landing pages. What are they? How are they? What are they good for? Unlike war, they aren't good for absolutely nothing, and I won't say it again because they're good for everything. Landing pages are one of the key elements to your success in marketing automation. So it's important that you know how to create them and what to do with them. So before we dive right in, the first thing I need you to do is to download files for the project. So go to this website, bit.ly/2r4w, capital E, 9, capital V. You'll go to this page and right over here, just click that button that says download, and it'll download automatically to your computer. It's a zip file, so you need to extract it, although your computer may do that automatically. And in this are the important files that we'll be using to build some landing pages. So keep that handy. Know where it is. You might just want to stick it on your desktop. Did I just tell you to stick it? I didn't mean that. So let's take a quick look at what's in this. In the headers folder are some headers that you can use. We'll be going through those. In the faces folder, oh, guess what? Faces. I think we know these people. In the comps folder, here are images of the landing pages that we will be creating. We'll be making a WRN invitation page. And we'll also be making a page to entice people to learn more about marketing automation. These are the kinds of pages that you will be making for your own business. Have a map. Here are the text files. Rather than come up with copy on your own for these examples, I have included all the text that we'll be using. My logo, and then some icons, all of which, of course, we'll be using to create the landing page. So again, just keep this handy. So the first thing that we're going to do is set up your landing page URL. Now, since I've already done this for me, I'm going to switch to Dr. Starler's account to show you what it's going to look like for you. So you'll go to Pages and Landing Pages, and that's the thing that you're going to see. Now, you're only going to see this once. Once you've set this up, you won't see it again, but I will show you how to change it in case you need to or didn't set it up the way that you wanted. So we'll click Add Site, and in the first box, it asks for a short site name. Now, this is just for your reference only. It can be anything. So we'll just call this Starler. Next, it asks the site type, main site, micro site, or brochure, blog, and informative, etc. This is only for categorization. It's not crucial. Just leave it to main site. When you start building hundreds of different landing pages, it'll be a little more important just for the organizational quality. And then finally, you're going to create a domain name. Now, the landing pages are stored on the SharpSpring system, so you don't have to worry about it interfering with your website. But your URL should be a descriptive word, dot, and then your website. So, for instance, Dr. Starler's website is www.starler.com. So back at SharpSpring, we want to have a descriptive word, .starler.com. So we might just call this health. And then we're going to click Add Site. And here it is, all nice and created. Now, let's say that Dr. Starler, after creating this, or I created it, and she wanted it to say nutrition and not health, we could change that in settings. So we click on the silhouette, settings, go down here to tracking, and click sites. And there it is. So to change the URL, you would just click right here on the name of it, the short site name that we gave. And let me back up. So I realized that her homepage site and this site have the same short name, so that should be changed as well. So I'm going to click on that. Call this Starler Landing, and we can change that to nutrition.starler.com and save changes, and we're good. So this is interesting. What is this doing here? This clearly is not Dr. Starler's page. Looking at it, it seems like it's the hosting company where Dr. Starler has her website, and it seems like they've put a redirect. So if there's an empty page, it just goes to their company information. Not a really cool thing to do. But fortunately, once we publish something at this URL, that will go away. Anyway, let's get back to landing pages. Go to Pages and then Page Templates. So the first thing we're going to do in building a landing page is we're going to build one off of a template. Now the SharpSpring system has a lot of templates that are already set up, and this gives you a really great starting point to create your own landing page. Now we will be creating a page from scratch to show you how to do that as well. But these are just a terrific way to start. So you see in this first row, we have single pages, and then we have what's called funnels. Now, a funnel is just a multi-page landing page. Why is it called a funnel? Well, essentially everything that we do in SharpSpring is a funnel. In other words, we are moving our leads from a more general place of interacting with our company to a more specific place where they're paying us for our goods or services. So if you imagine a funnel, the wide mouth of the funnel is where the process starts. It's an email that you send out to a lot of people. It's a landing page that a lot of people look at. But both the email and the landing page should have something of interest to your market. It makes them click on the email to get to the landing page. It makes them enter information into the landing page to want to know more or to sign up for a program. With each action, they're going from a more generalized interaction with your company to a more specific. They're moving down the funnel. So these 2-page or 3-page websites are called funnels because you move them from one page to the next, from a more general to a more specific interaction. Now, you'll also see that a lot of these templates are the same. Here we have funnels for VSL. A VSL stands for Video Sales Letter. It's just a marketing way of saying a video that describes a product or service that makes people more interested in it. Requesting a demo, real estate listings, a callback quote, a beta user. Now you can see that all of these have the same design. What they've done is they've just created categories as a way for you to organize your landing pages. As you'll see, these layouts aren't intended to be ready-made for you to just add a couple words and publish it. They're designed to show you a layout that you can follow. The great thing about these is that you don't have to become a web designer in order to use these layouts and in order to have an effective landing page. They've done the hard work for you. So don't be worried that these templates all seem to be technology based. You can use them regardless of what business you're in, and I will show you how to do that. So I'm going to show you how to create a landing page that's for a seminar. So we're going to scroll down here to Events and Webinars and go over here to where it says Webinar. And then we're going to click the little pencil icon. Now, the first thing it's going to ask is, what's the name of your landing page? Call this webinar demo for WRN pilot program, and then create funnel. So like I said, this gives you a starting point to build an idea about how you want to entice people to come to your seminar. We have the start with the headline, which is the thing that not only grabs their attention, but creates curiosity. Headlines should be short, to the point, not very descriptive, but again, create curiosity. Be careful that your headline doesn't promise too much, because then it'll look like a scam. For instance, if the headline said, make $1 million in 15 minutes, well, that's definitely going to create curiosity, but no one's going to believe it. Here's the subhead. The subhead is going to give your audience a little more specific information. The logo goes right there. Click to add form, meaning that, well, of course, there's going to be a form here so people can sign up. So let's start designing our landing page. Some things that you want to pay attention to right away are these icons over on the left side. We have the Add Content button, Edit Content, Preview, Edit Code, Page Settings, and Dynamic Web Content. I'll be covering dynamic web content in the next video. So we're going to use the edit content button, this pencil, and then we're going to click in the form area. Now, as soon as you do that, of course, on the right side, we have a selection about what we're going to do with this thing that we just clicked on. And so anytime that you click on an editable area over to the right, this thing pops out and asks, okay, great, what do you want to do with it? Now, we've covered forms in previous videos. Hopefully you have created a form. For something like this, for asking people to sign up for a seminar, you want as simple a form as possible. If there's more than 2 or 3 fields in the form, the likelihood that they're going to fill it out drops dramatically. So for instance, I have big time test that has a lot of information in it. Unlikely someone's going to fill that out, as opposed to WRN invite, which is perfect. First name and an email. Now, if somebody who is already a lead fills this out, it's going to contribute to their client score. In other words, once they put in their name and email, it's going to register in your contacts listing, because essentially what they're saying is, I have just become more interested in your business than I was before. And remember, the benefit of client scores is that when they fill out something like a form, or they're doing a lot of opening of emails, they're letting us know that they're more interested in us. Because of that, we want to pay more attention to them and nurture them along the funnel. So I don't want to get too far into that. But let's say that you're here and you don't have a form that is just name and email. Well, you can click right here on Form Editor. And here we are. You can edit the form. You can also save this as a copy and use that to create a new form. So since this is the WRN invite form, I don't want to use that for my event. I want to make it a Dan Gordon invite or a big time group invite. So when you go to copy a form, the first thing it's going to do is show you this embed code. Don't worry about it. There's the close button that's just underneath here. Let me show you that. Close that. And now we're back at this. First thing I'm going to do is change the name. You also want to check your form and make sure that none of these are checked. So I'm jumping a little bit ahead here, but when someone fills out a form on your landing page, it's going to take them to a second page where you're going to thank them for filling out the form and also give them a little more information about the event that they just either signed up for or asked for more information about. Now, if you only have a one-page landing page, when they fill out a form, then you do want that checked. Because what that will do is, instead of taking them to a second page, the form will go away once they submit it, and then it will say thank you. But you definitely want some sort of reaction when someone fills out a form. So this was covered in depth in the video about forms. So I would suggest you go back and take a look at that. Okay, so if we're happy with this, I'm going to click Save Changes and then click Close, and that's going to take me right back to my landing page. I'm going to change this. I would change it to a big time group invite, but it's not showing up. So I'm going to reload the page, edit content, click on this. There it is. And we have inserted a form. Congratulations. And one more thing on this form, notice it says first name rather than name. Well, don't we want the full name? Actually, no. The reason is, just asking for the first name seems a lot more benign. You're asking for less personal information. We don't need their full name just yet. So if this is somebody who is already a lead and is in your contacts, it's going to signal who it is when they put in their email address. If it's someone new, we're still at the wider mouth of the funnel. If they continue to engage with you, we'll get their full name later. We only need their first name for things like merge variables. In other words, and we'll be dealing with this in the next video, when we email them later, let's say their name is Nick, we're not going to say, hey, Nick Smith, here's a great offer for you. We're going to say, hey, Nick, here's a great offer. At this stage of the game, we don't need their full name, and this makes it easier on them to want to give us their information. So moving right along, let's put a logo in this bad boy. So we want to go back to the pencil icon, make sure we're on edit content, and then click right where it says logo. Now take a look at the cursor. You see how it says IMG, short for image. Over here, it does not say image. This box is where this image exists. And I'll be showing you about this when we create a landing page from scratch. But wherever your cursor rolls over, it's going to tell you the content or the section where you are. We go down here, it says H1, meaning headline 1, H4, that's the 1 is large type, 4 is smaller type. Right there it says form. So important to know where your cursor is before you click. So back up here, we're going to click on image, and now it's going to give us the opportunity to put in a logo. So click choose file and then navigate to the folder that you downloaded with all of the content. And right there, click on the big time logo. Now the placeholder is going to make the logo the same size as that placeholder. If you think the logo that you put in is too small, and I do, you can just scroll down here and make it larger. Now there's a little checkbox here that says constrain proportions, meaning that whichever of these you size up, the other will size up accordingly. Now, it doesn't always work. Let's see. So you can either put in a value or use these little up and down arrows. Let's just use those. All right, so as you can see, my logo is now distorted. So I'm going to uncheck that box and make it a little wider, and that looks just about right. And that's a pretty good size for the logo too. Now notice that we can see through the logo. In other words, this isn't just a white box with the logo in it. You want to make sure that you have a version of your logo that's in what's called PNG format. If you don't know how to make the background transparent, speak to the person who created your logo or find a graphics professional. Okay, so we have the logo in place. It looks good. Let's add some text. So we're going to go back to that folder that you downloaded, and here in text, and we're going to open the one that says landing page text seminar from template. That's the one that we're working on. Okay, so we are in the header section, so we want to copy out discover the Uber of marketing. Now, when you're creating your own landing page, I would still suggest creating the copy in Microsoft Word. A couple reasons. One, in Word, it's going to catch spelling and grammar errors. The landing page editor isn't designed to do that. The other thing is that typing in the landing page editor is a bit clunky. It really isn't designed to be a word processor. So I'm going to copy this, and then back here, I'm going to click in there once, and now I'm going to double click. And as you can see, all the text is now highlighted. This is important. Before you paste in the text, you want to make sure that you're here, not there. This is just adjusting the text in this box, the alignment, and some other properties. When you double click, the text is highlighted, meaning that you're now actually going to change it. So on the Mac, you can right click or control click and choose paste and match style. On Windows, you want to right click and choose paste as plain text. The reason that we're doing this is that we don't want to pick up the font style from Microsoft Word. So paste and match style or paste as plain text will make it the same size and font style as this. Now, I'm going to show you this. When you highlight it, you have a myriad of tools at your disposal. You can make it bold, italic, underline. You can change the color, you can change the font style, you can change the size, you can indent it, unindent it. With this, you can turn this into a clickable link. Of course, you do not want to make your headline a clickable link. But if there was some copy, some body copy, some text further down, and you wanted to say, click here to download this PDF, that's a way to do it. And you can also rotate this box left and right. But when you're using a template, I would urge you just to use the font style that they have. It is designed to be the most pleasing to the eye and the most readable. The mistake that a lot of people make is, well, they believe that the larger the font or if it's bold, it's going to make it stand out more and people will read it. So I'm going to click outside of this. That'll unhighlight it. I'm going to make sure edit content is clicked again. And I'm going to click this once more because I would prefer that this type is centered rather than left aligned. So I'm going to drag down to center, and there we have it. We have created a headline. Let's go back to the Word doc and grab the subhead. Again, copy, highlight that, double click. We'll choose paste and match style. And there you have it. Now, again, it's to the left. Let's say that we want that centered. Looking good so far. Now, looks like we have run out of text boxes, but back here we have some more information. What are we going to do? Well, let's take a look at the comp, that JPEG that shows how it's supposed to look. We're going to make this text a little larger and then add a couple extra lines. Let's see how to do that. So I'm going to highlight this text, and here I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Use the arrow right key to put the cursor at the end and then hit return. And now I can put in more of that text. There we go. And I'm going to get a little more designy here and make this just a bit smaller so it all fits on one line. And let's make this bold. It's a bold statement. Okay, so you can also see there's a lot of room between this last line and there. And look at that. When you roll over that, this little empty box appears. So this happens occasionally. And this is the perfect time to show you how to reorder sections and delete them. So I'm going to control click or right click, and it says delete element. So there, it's gone. And as you can see, it's moved things a little bit closer, looks a little bit nicer. So terrific. We have handled this first header block. Moving down, let's see what's next. So we have in this template 4 text boxes to talk about this thing that we're doing. Let's take a look back at the text. Okay, so the first one is, what is marketing automation? So by now this should be fairly clear. Just copy and paste. So I'm going to go ahead and do that in record time, because what's the point of you having to sit there and watch me do it? Okay, there it is. Let's see if you can do it that fast. So from a marketing perspective, I want to say something about these 4 boxes. On your landing page, you'll be speaking to potential clients or people who are your clients who you want to be involved with your company in a more substantial way. So you want to think less about what it is that you want to tell them and more about what it is you think they're most curious about. That means that you have to forget about the parts of your business that you're really excited about and can't wait to tell people about. Forget about those things. Think about their interest level. Don't speak in technical details. Make it super simple. The whole thing is not to educate, but to inspire their curiosity. So what I'm using is, what is marketing automation? I don't want to give people the whole story here about what it is, just enough to whet their appetite. Then, of course, the next logical question is, how can it help my business? So in that are some more particulars about what the system does. Then I want to answer the question they might have about how technical this program is. Do I need a background in marketing to attend? Absolutely not. And then finally, are you going to try to sell me something? So this is what I call a counterintuitive statement. I don't want tourists in my seminar. I want people who are ready to buy. So I talk about the fact that I am going to try to sell them something, but I'm doing it at a low price for those who attend this seminar. Now, these images that come with the template may or may not be right for what you're talking about. They're not right for me. So I have some graphics that I'm going to put in, and those are in that folder. So let's click on the Edit Content button. Again, when you roll over this, we're here in the box which contains the placeholder for the graphic. There's the graphic, there's the box that the graphic is in. So we definitely want to roll over the graphic and click on it. And now we can upload a new one. So click Choose File, go to Icons, and I have these in order. Number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So moving right along, we've added text, we've added graphics. Let's take a look at the comp and see what's next. Okay, terrific. We have some testimonials. Let's take a look at the template and scroll down. Wait a second, there are no testimonials here. What do? Very simple. We just add them. So I'm going to go over to this big plus sign that says Add Content. In blocks are all the graphics and text blocks that you can add to this landing page. But we want to specifically look for testimonials. So we're going to click in there and drag down to testimonials. And that's going to pop up just the ones that we need. And there it is. That's the one that we're looking for, the 3 boxes with little round pictures. So you don't have to drag it, just click on it once and in it goes. Now click on the Edit Content button, and this will get larger, but here's the problem. We want first the header block, then the 4 text blocks, then the testimonials, and then the bottom block. We got to move some stuff around. So roll the mouse over this area until it just says section. Right here it says H3, that's the header block. Over here it's an image, over here it's the placeholder, over here it's the smaller section, but we want to just click on where it says section in this white space. So we want to do a right click or control click on Mac and select Reorder Sections. Now we're going to get a smaller view and we're going to see that the testimonials are at the bottom, but we can move them up. You also see a little trash can, meaning that you can click on the trash can and delete the section. So for instance, go back here. Let's say that you inadvertently, and this happens a lot, so don't feel bad. Say that you inadvertently had clicked this twice. Back here, when we scroll down, we now have 2 testimonial sections. So now seeing both of these, it's really simple. You can just click right there, click OK, and away it goes. Now to change the location, you just grab it and gently move it up, and you'll see it makes a little space for it and let go. Done. Now you can click on any of these other buttons and it'll take you back out of it like that. And then back to Edit Content. All right, so it has a placeholder, says Amazing Testimonials, that directly touches your visitors' pain points. Wow, well, certainly we're not leaving that in for our landing page. Let's go back to our copy. Here's why people love marketing automation. Okay, again, I just clicked and then double clicked in there. And let's start with the text, and we'll do the same thing. A moment on the name. As you can see, it's bold there and not bold there. So what they're suggesting is to put the name in bold and the company in regular type. So when we go to grab her name and do paste and match style, it's going to all be bold. So we just want to highlight that. And then back here, click bold. It looks like her title is a little too long. So let's just go ahead and take out expert. All right, same thing for the other 2. Okay, so one of the things that we are seeing here is that some of this copy is left justified, some of it is center. We certainly want to make it all consistent. So let's move the headlines to center. Simply just doing that. And what I'm doing is I'm just clicking once in there, which is opening up this right side area. And then to close it again, I'm just hitting this X up here, and that's centered. Let's make the copy in the testimonial left justified. Once. That's left now. Okay, terrific. Now, a word about testimonials. You're never going to find someone who speaks in perfect clipped phrases. So let's say that a client is telling you how much they really enjoyed working with you. Perfect opportunity to grab a testimonial. What you don't want to say is, hey, great, would you sit down and write a testimonial later? Because they're in a mood right then and there to tell you just exactly how much they appreciate you. Pull out your phone, turn on the voice recorder and say, hey, would you say that testimonial here, and I'll transcribe it for you. Get it down to a sentence or two, just a few words, and then email it back to them and say, is this the spirit of what you were trying to get across? Also get a picture of them in that same state of mind, because that picture will most likely capture their mood and the sentiment of that testimonial. Okay, so this is looking really good. Now let's just add in some faces. So as you can see, I've clicked here on IMG, and we're going to click Choose File. And here we are back at our landing page files. Let's go to Faces, and we'll just do, we'll do Face 2 because we have a female testimonial. Open, and pops right in. So easy. Choose File. And there we have it. Testimonials are complete. Let's take a look at our comp and see how we're doing. Okay, looking really nice. Used a couple different images on the comp, but let's keep going. Now, what's next? Okay, it says we're easy to find, and there's a map. Here, there is no map. Looks like we're gonna have to add one. I'll show you how to do that. But before we add the map, we're gonna take a trip over here to Page Settings, this little icon that looks like a piece of paper. And over here where it says funnel slug, we're going to click in there and add a funnel slug. Okay, what's a funnel slug? This is a one word that denotes the page. This is used in the URL, and without a funnel slug, the page cannot be published. In other words, if you go to click here and publish a page and it won't publish, chances are you have not added a funnel slug. So it doesn't have to be too complicated. We'll just call this WRN demo. Now, what else do we have in the page settings? Well, we have other pages. This landing page is a funnel. It's a two-page landing page. What we've been looking at is the index page. The index page is always the home page of the landing page. The thank you page is the page that the user will see after they have entered their name and their email address and click Request Invitation. Now, with SharpSpring, we can set it so right in this area here it says thank you, but we're better off taking them to a thank you page. So to get to the thank you page, we're going to click on this small pencil icon, and that'll jump us right to it. So as you can see, we don't have a logo in there, and we don't have any text. So in order to edit this page, we have to click on the large pencil icon, the Edit Content button, click on Logo, and we're going to once again upload the big time logo. And let's set a size for this. And again, as you can see, it's not sizing correctly, so I'm going to unclick Constrain Proportions. And that looks pretty good. And as you can see, we have some text here. So let's go back to our Word file and scroll down to the thank you page text. And thank you, that's good. And let's grab this text here. And we're just going to stick it right in there. And let's make this center justified. And I think the text could be a little larger as well. Looks nice. And of course, as you can see, we also have these social icons here. So if you want to allow people to go to your Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram account, this is where you set that up. But we're going to need to get rid of them. But before we do, let me show you how you would use them. So you would just roll over, and as you can see, it turns into Anchor. Click on it. And right here, you would paste in your URL for your Twitter account. Now, let's say that for some reason you don't have a Twitter account, but you have a MySpace account. Why you would have that, I don't know. But what you can do is you can type in text that can be used as a button. And again, you would just pop in your MySpace URL there. You can also redirect to another page. So you can go back to this button and click here and add a whole new page and do it that way. And that page would show up right here. As it is, we only have index or a thank you. You can also select media, and when they click on it, they'll see a piece of media from your media center. It's a little more advanced, something that we don't need to cover right now. So what we are going to do, since we aren't using these, we're just going to delete them. So we're going to roll over them. It'll say Anchor. you'll right click and delete. Same thing with Instagram. And we'll do the same thing down here as well. Now, do you need social links on a landing page? Not really. Landing page is not a website. It's here just to get across one thing. It's here to move people down your sales funnel. It's not to impress them with your Twitter account, your Facebook page, or your Instagram. Now, if you're doing a seminar about social media, they might be important to have on there to show that you are active on social media. But for these purposes, you can just get rid of them. Okay, so terrific. Our thank you page is done. Let's go back to our home page, the index page. Go to page settings, click on index, click on that pencil icon, and then click on edit content. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, we need a map. And as we can see from the comp, the map goes right after the testimonials and before this bottom bar. Let's see how to add a map. So there's two ways that we're going to do this. The first way will be to put in a picture of a map that they click on, and then they're taken to Google Maps for the directions. The second way is the more traditional way, where the map that's put in the landing page isn't just a picture, it's an actual Google map that they can click on and move around in and zoom in and out of. So the first thing we're going to do is go to Google Maps to the place where we want them to go. In our case, it's Coffee Connection. Here's our map. So I'm going to do a screenshot of this. So on Mac, to take a screenshot, it's Shift-Command-4. And it turns, the cursor turns into these little crosshairs, and you just click and drag, and whatever you highlight will become a screenshot. For Windows, doing a partial screenshot is a little more complicated. You need to open the snipping tool, press Control and Print Screen, and then select the area of the screen that you want to capture. Good luck with that. Anyway, so when you do that screenshot, at least on Mac, it's going to show up on the desktop as a PNG file. Now, I've also conveniently included a screenshot of a map in the folder that you've downloaded, so you can just use that for now. But we're going to hold on to this map for a moment because we will be referring back to it in just a moment. So to add the map, we're going to click on the Add Content button, and then we're going to click Layouts, and then we're going to click Full Width. And that's going to put this gray bar at the bottom of the landing page. Remember, only click it once. Now we go to the Edit Content button. Scroll down to this, right click, and we're going to reorder sections because we need to move this above the bottom bar. And it's not always real simple. Sometimes do a double move. There we go. Add Content, Elements, and Image. Scroll down and click inside of here. And as you can see, an image placeholder has appeared. Again, just hit it once. Edit Content. We're going to click in here, and under Choose File, we're going to go back to the folder that you downloaded and click WRN Map and open. And there it is. Now with Edit Content clicked, we're going to click on the map. And as you can see, when you roll over it, it says IMG under the cursor. And now Target Link is where the user is taken once they click on the image. Now, image URL is something very different. When you uploaded the image, it gets stored on the SharpSpring servers, and that's where that is. If you already had a map uploaded that you want to use, you could go and copy that link and paste it here by going to Content and Media Center, but we're not doing that. So let's go back to the map, click on Directions. Now this is where you want people to be after they've clicked the map on the landing page. Why here? Because all they have to do now is put in their address and it'll show the directions to get to the location that you want them to be. It's just one less click that people have to do. We're going to click in the URL, copy it, go back to the landing page and paste that in Target Link. And also click Open in New Tab. You want to click that, because if you don't, clicking the map will navigate them away from your landing page. You never want them to do that. The other thing that we want to do is align the map center. And then we're going to click the X and close this. And there's our map. Now we want to do a little more than just have a map floating out there in space. So let's add a headline above that. To do so, we're going to go to our Add Content button. We're going to click on Elements and click on Header. Now we're going to roll over to the map, and as you can see, when we get towards the top, that purple bar appears. We don't want it on the bottom, we definitely want it on the top, so we click once, go back to Edit Content, and then type in. We're easy to find. Well, of course we are, because we've given them a map. Now when you click outside of it, it is left justified, so let's click in and align it center. There we have it. Our map has been added. So we have a pretty rad landing page here. We have a really good header, some information, we have some testimonials, and we have a map. Everything we need for success. The only other thing I'm going to do is to, of course, add my company name in there and then get rid of these social icons. Terrific. I am ready to publish. Click the Publish button. Right here it says saving progress, so it's saving it. And then once it's saved up here, this little circle will start spinning, showing that it is uploading and publishing. Once that circle is complete, it means that it is published. So we're going to go over here to this second button and click Visit Live Page. There we have it, our page. So let's take a look at this map. Let's roll over it, click it, and it did exactly what we wanted it to do. It took us right to the part of Google Maps that will allow me to type in my address and see directions about how to get to where I want to go. So now back to the landing page, I promised to show you how to add a map the more traditional way, because as you can see with this one, it's just an image. We can't really do anything with it. What you want is a map that looks like this. In this one, they can zoom in and out, they can move it around, a little more classy. Let's see how to do that. So this requires just a little bit of using code. So we're going to go back to Google Maps. So we're going to click Share, then we're going to click Embed Map. Now we're going to copy this out, and we're going to paste it into the Word doc. So I've pretty much got it all set up for you. Here's the code that you need above the embed code and the code below it. So we just highlight this and we want to paste as plain text. Now this code here was on a separate line, so we want to make sure that it's on that separate line. Now we want to copy all of this code, not the Word code, but just that code there. And then back at our landing page, first we're going to get rid of this map. I'm going to delete the selection. And then we're going to go over to the Edit Code button. All right, again, don't get freaked out. We're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. Now, right there where it says Footer Class, that's the beginning of the code that creates that bottom bar. So we want to make sure that we're not putting the map underneath the bottom bar, but we're putting it where the other map was, in between the testimonials and the bottom bar. So we're going to click right here and then hit return to get a new line. And then we're just going to paste in the code and then click save and close. And look at that. There's our map. Not complicated at all. However, we did lose where easy to find, so we're going to have to put that back in. In order to do that, we're going to have to use the Add Content button and add a headline. So we go to Layouts, Full Width, Element, Header, click inside, back to Edit Content, and we want to make that centered. So now we're going to want to move it above the map, but very important, because this whole area right here, as you can see, it says H1, meaning that it's a headline. We don't want to try to move this. We need to move the section. So we need to move the cursor outside of this box to where it says section. Then we right click, reorder sections. I'm just going to pop this right up above the map. And again, sometimes you got to do a little jostling around here. There we go. Just double click here and that'll take us to full width. And as you can see, now we can move around on this and zoom out and zoom in, or I can just click on directions and that'll take me directly to Google Maps and I can type in my directions. So all in all, this is a better way to go, a little more complicated, but with a little bit of practice, you'll be great at it. Now, stylistically, we have a lot of space here between easy to find in the map. Now there's ways of adjusting that. We want to click where it says section and scroll up so we can take a look at it. And now this is padding. Padding means extra space. So we're going to click on this padding, and extra small is clicked, meaning that the padding beneath it is extra small. Now we can click over here, and that's also extra small. So that has shrunk down the space above and below where easy to find. Going back to a normal view, you can see it's a lot closer. Now we can publish this. Now, once you've published a page and you go to publish it again, it's going to remind you that you're replacing your current page with an entirely new page. And we're good with that. So once that's done, we can go to here, visit live page, and there it is. So we have a really nice landing page. At least it looks nice for the desktop or a laptop. Let's go back to the page in SharpSpring and let's take a look at it on how it's going to look on various devices. Right here, this icon that looks like an eye. This is to preview on different devices. So let's click on that, and this is how it looks on a desktop or a laptop. The second one is how it looks on a tablet, like an iPad. So still looks good. Now, this is in a vertical configuration. It'll look more like it does on a desktop or a laptop on a tablet on a horizontal configuration. And then we click on here to see what it looks like on a mobile phone. As you can see, it's a lot more squeezed in, but the information is still laid out well. And we still have the map in a good configuration. So it looks like it passes the test. Now, let's say that we like the page. We want to make a couple changes to it, but we also want a backup version in case we don't like the changes. We don't want to have to go through all the steps of changing it back to its original configuration. Well, it would be great if there was a duplicate page button, but unfortunately there isn't. So we've got to go through a couple steps here. We're going to go back and revisit our edit code button. And we're going to click inside of here, doesn't matter where, just as long as we can see that there's a flashing cursor, and there is. And we're going to do a select all and then copy. Now we're going to go back up to pages, landing pages, options, new landing pages, and we're going to make it 2 pages because we have the index page and the thank you page. And I'll call this, and we'll click create funnel. Now that's just going to take us to an empty landing page, which is fine because we're going to go over here to edit code, and we're going to click right there next to one, so it's make sure it's flashing, and then click paste, and then click save and close. Lo and behold, we have the exact landing page perfectly duplicated. Now of course we have 2 pages, so we're going to have to click the page settings over here at page 2. We'll call this thank you. And we're going to click the edit button, so it'll take us to page 2. And as you can see, it's blank, which is good. Then we need to go back to the original page. So we go to landing pages, go to the one we were just working on. I'll click this small pencil to edit it. Go over here to page settings, get to the thank you page. Click the pencil icon to get to it. And then we'll click the edit code. Click inside, see the cursors flashing. Select all, copy, pages, landing pages. This is one we were duplicating, so we'll click to edit that. Get over here to our thank you page, and then get to edit code, click in there, and paste. Save and close. And there we have it, perfectly duplicated. We go back to pages, landing pages. We'll see that there's the one we were just working on, and here is the duplicated one. As you can see, there's no preview for it yet. It takes the system a little while to bring up a preview. If ever you're going to make substantial changes to your landing page, I would absolutely suggest duplicating it so you can always have a backup version of it. So I've shown you how to create a landing page using a template. Now we're going to create one completely from scratch. So if you're not here already, you would go to pages, landing pages, and that'll take you right here. We're going to go to options, new landing pages. And this time it's only going to be a 1-page landing page. We'll call this one, click create funnel. Now, just like when we were duplicating a page, it takes us to an absolutely blank landing page. So we're going to click the add content button. The first thing that we have to do is add a header block. They call it a cover block. So we'll go to cover, and that's just going to show us all the cover blocks. For what we're doing, I want to use this one. This has a headline and it also has a form on the right side. So I clicked it once and immediately it goes into our landing page. Now we're going to go back up to the top here. We're then going to go to testimonial, and we're going to use the same testimonial block as before. So I'm going to click on that once. Then we're going to click layouts, back up to the top, and click full width. Just like baking a cake, we're bringing out all of our ingredients first. And we're going to click elements, header, and we're going to put a header inside of this block. And we're going to click image and put the image underneath the header. And we've clicked once and the image placeholder is there. Now let's say you inadvertently click twice. Just going to review this. Well, to get that second one out of there, first thing that you have to do, click the edit content button, go over to the second one, right click, and click delete element. And it's gone. Super simple. Okay, let's get back up to the top here, and we're going to work on this header image. Now, if you haven't already done so, we want to click edit content. We're going to click here once, and as you can see, it says background right here, meaning that we are now editing the background image. So we're going to click choose file and get to the folder that you downloaded, landing page files, and we're going to go to headers and open that up. Now there's several headers in this folder to give you some options to choose from and just to play around with. The header I want you to use, however, is WRN header. So you just select that and click open, and it will pop right in. So we are ready to add the headline. To do that, we want to go back to that folder, go to the folder called text, and the file landing page text WRN invite from scratch. So here's all the text that we'll be using for this. Let's go ahead and start to enter it. It's the header. And by now you know to either paste and match style or paste as plain text. That looks good. Let's take a look at the comp image and see how this page is supposed to look. It looks a little bit different. When I designed this, I had the screen a little wider. As you can tell, this is a little thinner, which is why the text is laid out a little bit differently, but it looks good. So let's go to the Word doc, grab the subhead, paste it in. Go back to the Word doc, grab this other text, paste it in, and then right above the form, there's a space for some more text, and that's this text right here. And we'll paste it in. Now, looking at this comp, I chose to bold the word everywhere. So let me go ahead and do that. So I just double click in here, double click on the word, and click bold. On the comp, I did this in text that is not all capitalized, which it is here. So I could change that easily. Just go back to the Word doc, copy it, and instead of doing paste and match style, I'll just paste it in. And there we have it. As you can see from the comp, this is a little bit smaller. So I'm going to highlight this text and bring it down some. There we go. Next, we want to add the form. So we just click in this placeholder and our form settings menu pops out. I have the WRN invite form, which just has the name and email address and request invitation. Click the X to close that, and our header is complete. Pretty simple. Testimonials, we're going to do the exact same thing as before. Just look at the Word doc, grab all the text, line by line. And there you have it. For the faces, you know how to do that. Just add them in. So now looking over the comp, we have our header, we have our testimonial area, and now we just need to add the map. But you know what? I think I want to add a bottom bar. Why? Because bottom bars are cool. So let's see how to do that. Back here at the page, and we're underneath the testimonials, and click on Add Content, go to Layouts, and click Full Width. Then Elements, and click Paragraph, and then click inside of that gray bar. And that adds the text that we'll be using inside of the bottom bar. Back on Edit Content. Now when you add that full width, it not only adds the area to put content, but it adds a section. So we're going to click not in the text, but just outside of it where it says section, and we're going to add a background color to it. So when you click the box for background color, it brings up color wheel, and we can just slide this all the way over. And then we have our bottom bar, and clicking inside of this, we're just going to type in and now let's center these. And there we have it. Now to add the maps, we first want to go back to our Google map, click on Share, Embed Map, and copy out the code for the embedded map. Go to our Word doc and paste that code in to underneath map code here. Copy this entire code. Go back to our landing page. Go into the Edit Code area. Just like before, we're going to scroll all the way down, and underneath Section, or at Section, we're going to click, add an empty line, and paste in our code. Then click Save and Close, and there's our map. Of course, we want to add some text above it. Layouts, full width, elements, header, edit content, come visit us. I want to move that above the map. There we go. I'm going to click inside of this area, and we're going to align it center. And then we're going to click in the section and go to our padding area and click extra small padding on the bottom, extra small on top. Let's narrow it down a bit. And we have a pretty good looking landing page once again. Now, let's say that you've made a one-page landing page like this, and then you think, know what? I really would like a second page, because when they fill this out, rather than a thank you showing up here, I'd rather them go to a second page. Impossible, treacherous, difficult, none of those things. Just going to click over here on page settings. Going to add new page. Under new page, we're going to call this thank you. And we're going to click that button to edit it. Now we're on that page, nothing's there. And so what do we want to add to this page? Well, we want the page to look similar to the home page. We want the same header image, and then we want it to say thank you. So we're going to go to add content. And under blocks, we're going to do cover. And we need to put in a cover image, but this time we don't want a form. So let's scroll down here, and this one works. We want a header that has a space to put in an image and then text. So let's click that, and then click Edit Content. So let's click this background, and under Choose File, we're going to upload that same header image. And then in this headline area, let's just put thanks, we look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. And then here we can put, so when they enter their information on the home page and they click enter, they'll see this pop up. We'll have a trigger that sends them an email with the directions and information and times and everything that they need to bring. And let's make sure we have that set up correctly by going back to the home page. Under page settings, we'll click page 1. Let's just call this index so we keep everything consistent. So we're going to click the little pencil to get back to the index page. We're going to click edit content and then click on this form, because that's going to bring up our form settings. So if we click form editor, we're going to see the actions that happen when somebody fills out a form. So here we see the fields of the form, but when we click general, and we scroll down to a thank you page, nothing is clicked. So currently, it's not set up to do anything when somebody enters their information. Down here where it says form data, this shows what happens internally when somebody submits their information. They become a qualified lead. So we're going to close this, and we're going to say that when someone fills out a form, they go right to the thank you page, and close that. So here we have our completed WRN invite landing page. Header, testimonials, map, and of course our footer. I'm going to double check here, click page settings, and we have a funnel slug that's in there already. That's good. So we can just click publish, and then we can see what it looks like. Visit live page. And there it is. Another good looking landing page. So there's one last thing I'm going to cover, and it's something that you've been seeing as we've been adding content. Back at the landing page, we're going to add another section in layouts, full width, then elements, and image. And click edit content. And when we click in the image, rather than choose file, we have the entire library of the stock photo website Shutterstock at our disposal. So since this landing page is all about business group, let's say that we want to add an image that represents people at a business group. And if we don't have that, we haven't found one online, we can just use a Shutterstock image. So we can do a search right here. And it's going to show us some different images that have to do with business groups. So let's say that we like this one. Just click in that, and we have now a placeholder image. So if we think it's too small, we can certainly make it larger. We can center it, close this, and we can reorder it. So we have this above the footer. And there we have it. So now this is exactly the way it's going to look until we buy it. So the great thing about using this is that if you really want a picture that's a professional looking image that you can't find online, that you don't have, you can buy it from Shutterstock. It's just $10 a picture. Now for something like this, probably not worth it. But if you're looking for a really slam bang image, Shutterstock has a lot of terrific pictures that you can choose from. And as long as we're on the subject of searching for images, I'm going to show you a couple other options of finding images to use for your landing page. So if you do a Google search, and we want to look for a picture, so let's click images. Now, a lot of great pictures here. These are likely to be from stock photo houses. They look like stock photos. Generally speaking, you don't want to use stock photos that look like stock photos. That's a little stodgy, but that's a stylistic choice. I'll leave that up to you. The thing that you want to do though before you choose an image is go over here and click on Tools, and under Size, select Large. I'm sure you've seen a lot of web pages with images that are very pixelated. You want to make sure that your images aren't pixelated. So you want to choose large image. Now when you move the cursor over the image, it's going to tell you the size of the image and where it's from. So we see this is 1600 by 854, which is a good sized image. And it looks like it's from Patriot Security Incorporated. So what that's telling us is that this is not a stock photo house, as opposed to this image down here that's from Dreamstime, which is a stock photo house. So you can just roll over them and see what they are. 123 RF is a stock photo house. As you do this, you'll get more aware of what is and isn't a stock photo house. Dreamstime again. So let's say that we want to use this. This says Study French Paris. Click on it. It looks like a very clear image. So we want to click View Image, and then that will take us to the full-sized image. And you can right-click and save image as, and just save it to your desktop. Now, this is definitely a stock photo image that they've used. A word of caution: if you use a stock photo without paying for it, there's a possibility that you will get nabbed. Meaning that these stock photo houses, they have little computer robots that are searching the internet constantly for their images. And Getty images are notorious for this. I've heard a lot of stories where people have downloaded an image from a site just like this. They use it, Getty finds them, and charges them $1,000 for using their image without authorization. And not only does it cost them $1,000, but they cannot continue using the image. So the $1,000 is the fine for using one of their images. And if you don't pay it, then they'll sue the pants off. So just a word of caution. If you're doing something for short term, then it's only going to be up for a couple of weeks, a month. You're pretty safe. If you plan to use a landing page for years on end, you may get nabbed. So let me show you how to determine if your image is a Getty image. We're just going to go back to Google and click on Images, and then click here where it says Search by Image. And we're going to upload the image. So we're going to choose the file that we just downloaded, and it's going to look for where this image also lives. So we have business administration careers, we have a Wikipedia page, we have it on YouTube. Let's look at the next page. Looks like it's been used in a lot of different videos and different things, but I'm not seeing it being used for in a stock photo house. So it's unlikely that you'll get nabbed on that one. So as long as on the first page of your Google image search, it doesn't come up with Getty Images, you're pretty safe. And now going back to our landing page, we can click on this image and we're going to choose this image instead of the Shutterstock image, and now we don't have to pay a thing for it. A couple of other options on images for your landing pages. There's a stock photo house that I use called PhotoSpin. I use a lot of stock photography. So this has a pricing plan of about $430, which gives me 500 downloads a month, usually more than enough. And it's a terrific website. They have thousands of images, and I can download pretty much as many as I need. So I like PhotoSpin a lot. The other stock photo house I would suggest is 123rf.com. And this is a little more simple. It's just $4 an image. Quite a bit less than the Shutterstock. So the same way. So let's say that we like this image. You're not sure if you want to use it. So you can right click on it, save image as, and we'll just call this test. So we can go back to our landing page, click on the image, choose file, click test, and we can say, yeah, that looks pretty good. I would like to use this image. Another word of caution, I see plenty of landing pages that have the watermark in there. So what that tells me is that the people who designed the landing page are too cheap to buy the image, so they're just using the free version. Well, that sets a very poor example. So if you do like the image, just go back and buy the thing. So that is all on how to design and create landing pages. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to make your landing pages dynamic landing pages, meaning that the landing page changes depending on who is looking at it. Exciting, you bet. Hope you spend some time practicing this. Landing pages are an essential part of making this platform valuable and productive for your business.